What I thought I'd do today is talk about the ways that people in the mountains make money, apart from farming. And I suppose the most common is to have a shop or a warung within your home. And this can normally be selling groceries, but some is quite specialised. Or very common people cooking things. Normally just something like mee ayam, which would be chicken noodles, or soup ayam, chicken soup, something like that. But yeah, very common, and many of my relatives have shops. Now, if your house isn't in a good location, and that normally means on a main road, what you can do is you can come round to people's houses selling your wares. And of course, Barcinco is a great example of that. She comes about once a week to see us. She doesn't have much to sell, sugar, noodles, that sort of thing. But my wife always buys from her because she was very kind to she was a friend of my wife's mother and was very kind to her when my wife's mother was alive. So she always makes a point of buying from Barcinco. Some people have motorbikes that they come with, and even just a couple of days ago somebody came round with Jamu herbal medicine for me. So they come round with all sorts of, sometimes you get clothing or paintings, all sorts. And certainly for vegetables they come every day. And they have regular clients and patches, And then there are local crafts. So you may have seen the vlog of the man making these gamelan orchestra instruments. And he looks to do a very good job of it. And I think he gets quite a good price from them. People who do this tend to be retired, but it gives them not a bad income. I've shown you many times my friend who paints the wayang kulit. Those are the shadow puppets. He's actually a retired teacher. He's the same age as me. So, like the other man, he's now retired and he does this to earn some extra money. But he sells them to professional dayungs. Those are the puppet masters. So he fetches quite a high price for what he does. They're quite sought after, I believe. And, lovely wayang that he makes. And something that seems to be growing in popularity is building pasoran, or you might know it as madrasa. It's an Islamic boarding school. It tends to be built by people who've made money outside of the mountains, say in Jakarta or Surabaya. Now, quite a few have been built, but I've not seen any opened yet, so I don't know what that means. Is it yet another of these failed businesses that seem to be everywhere? So I've already shown it you before, but the first bit of the market is the sort of wholesale bit where the farmers will sell their current produce to wholesalers who will take it down to the plains and probably sell it on again. Nothing's that efficient in Indonesia, so it goes from one place to another, and each with a markup, so it makes everything a bit expensive. And it rather depends what produce is in season, but rice and cassava are sweet corn would be the main crops that are sold. We're in Indonesia. So this is the beginning of the actual market, which is on the left-hand side. But as you can see, all along the road there are people selling stuff. Farmers selling stuff from their farms, people selling stuff from their garden, and, you know, people selling other things like clothing and lighter fluid. Anything you want, as long as it's not Western, basically. Well, this crossroads you might consider the central point in the village. So we're going to look towards the pasar itself. I did actually take some wonderful shots of the pasar and the entrance and walked in through it, and for some reason none of them took. So we're making do with other stuff that I shot earlier. And going the other way from the market, we go past Toko Timor, where I buy my coffee amongst other things, and the bank, where I can still get some money out, at least for now. So this is the front of the market, and as I say, I did have a wonderful shot of going in through the front entrance, but it's not to be. You can see at the front, mostly motorcycles parked there, but at the back there you can see people selling goods, actual shops and just stalls, people selling things. And this is the main road which goes to Wanasari and then Jogja. I don't know what's been happening here, but I've been recording the pasar or market and none of them have come out, so I'll have to re-record. So this is one of the main thoroughfares in the market. You can see not much light gets in because they want to keep it cool in the daytime. And we were by the stall here with these blankon, traditional hats from Java. And you see these with the long tassels, or long, they're not tassels, are they? Anyway, the long bits coming off them, particularly the black ones. They're fashioned after Sun and Kali Jagger. Sun and Kali Jagger's sort of, I suppose you might call him the patron saint of Java. He's certainly the most important of the Sunan to Kajawan practitioners. And I had shown you me coming in through the main entrance, which is there. But for some reason, as I say, none of it got taken. Right, I'm going to go down one of these little alleyways where, oh, not this one, the next one, where my friend is that sells the sort of stuff for the graves to honour the ancestors, really. And here it is, here she is, Agi. Not so much today, not so much today. You see, you put these on the grave. So when I go to my mother's grave, I do put them on. And this is Kemenyan, this is incense. Can be used for calling the spirits, but often is used for good things as well. Oh, and there aren't so many people selling here. Normally this is full with people. I don't know why. As I say, it was a little quiet the other day, and I don't know if it's the time of the year because of it's now the dry season, so people won't be making so much money. So we're going to go down to some of the lower parts of the market now, which are more for produce. This has changed. I've not seen this before. It's selling vegetables, but sort of a new sign. It's a bit different. Oh, I suppose there's nothing that new about it, just probably a new sign. That's all. And yeah, we'll go down to the lower part of the market now. Actually, there's a few stalls empty. It's not quite as busy as it used to be. As I say, I don't know if it's because it's the dry season, or just possibly. Oh, I'll just show you down this side here. There's the toilets there. Okay, and yeah, people selling stuff at the side here, but it is quite quiet. It is quite quiet. You know, the health crisis had a major effect on everywhere, really. Here, a lot of people, you know, I mean, basically you can live off the land. You can grow enough food to live on with not a great deal of work. But what happened was people couldn't pay taxes, they couldn't pay for things. You know, they could eat, they were fine, but they needed money. Their source of money had gone completely. So a lot of people took out bank loans to start businesses. And I suppose we all start businesses with twinkle in our eye, thinking that they're going to be terribly successful. So we go out and buy the latest machinery and latest stock of goods. And of course the vast majority of them went bankrupt. So people owe the banks money, and the banks use what I would call prey money. Those are people who, well, they're gangsters really, and they will come and threaten you to pay the money back to the bank. And so there's a lot of debt in the village, and people have been loaning money from their relatives and neighbours, and it's caused a lot of problems, and I suspect that's why the Passar's so quiet now, and that is because, you know, people have loaned money from the bank and they've had to pay it back somehow, but they've got no discretionary spending whatsoever. Go down to some of the lower bits in a minute. I'll just show you some more of these produce. I mean, often they're not full. They're not full here. There you go, selling bras. That's hardly produce, is it? We've got some produce here. And here's the inside of a mashola. So should I be here at prayer time, I could pray here. And you see at the front there, that's the Qiblat. That's facing, allegedly facing Mecca. So that's where the Imam, and the Imam is just the person who leads the prayers in Sunni Islam. That's where the Imam will lead the prayers from. And yeah, I suppose there's a few, but it is quite quiet. It is quite quiet. I'm gonna go down these steps here to the lower part. So I'm here in the lower part, which is almost exclusively produce. Sorry about the noise. They're milling. Well, it won't be rice now. Don't know what they're milling, but they'll be milling something. And yeah, you can see the produce here. I suppose there's a fair bit. There's a fair bit today, but not masses. God, it is noisy. Maybe I'll have to re-record this. There you go, there's the milling. You can see it going on. Oh, it does look like rice. Oh yeah, there is some fish. I was going to say they used to have fish here. See, people don't give a damn. They bring their motorcycles here. A bit more fish there, but not the selection that I've seen before. One of the main things you see for sale here is tobacco, because tobacco is grown all around here, so it's sold by the kilo. And there it is. You can see that tobacco, and yeah, they'll sell it by the kilo. I have at times smoked it and choked my guts up when I've smoked it. Anyway, some people seem to manage to smoke it without any discomfort, but not I. Not I. Yeah, loads of household things, baskets, and I bought some of those copper containers to use as waste paper baskets. I thought they were rather nice. So yeah, this is the lower bit of the market. Probably the more interesting bit. I don't know what they've demolished here. Something's gone, hasn't it? That's for sure. Yeah. So we'll leave the market now. I occasionally buy clothes from this stall here. And so people just outside the market, you see, selling many things here. And I do occasionally buy things from people here. Yeah. See those? Those are jackfruit. We use them in the local dish called gudeg, which my wife does it rather nicely, but normally it's far too sweet for me. So this is the lower bit of the market from the outside, so you can see we saw those stalls from the other side just a bit earlier, but here they are now. Seems to be a big turnover of people. There's a school friend of my wife's had one of those mending hand phones, and I needed a hand phone mending, but by the time I found it, it closed. Probably my fault for not getting back to him quickly enough, but you know. This looks popular, selling trousers for 50 cents. Yeah. There won't be much, but 50 cents, yeah. And shirts for children, 50 cents. Yeah. Maybe a bit more than 50, 70 cents, shall we say. Now, here's a sign that's been put up partially by the government, but also a bank, which says that here is where akawangi is grown. Akawangi is vetiver, which is the main scent used in Eau Sauvage by Christian Dior. I mean, it's used in other scents as well. But here it's used for making those Raffia animals that, as I've said, my relative sells outside Pasaberin Harjo in Jogja. And if ever you've been as a tourist to Jogja, you've probably been accosted by her to buy one of those animals. She is indeed very persuasive, and you might even have felt sorry for her. But you know, the truth is, that house that I've shown you of hers is one of the poshest houses around here. So she clearly does quite well from it. And indeed, she was on her way to her daughter's graduation today. So yeah, she's not poor by any stretch of the imagination. Oh yeah. Hello YouTube.
Aku di sini.
Oh.
Ini anak pertama.
Ah.
Oke. Masuklah.
So here's a collection of these Raffia animals from my relative. They've all come from her. Last a good while, so you know we've still got them. And I'm sure you're looking at these and saying, hang on a minute, I remember when I was in Jogja and some woman tried to sell me these. Or maybe you even bought them, yeah. But they're made of this akawangi, which is vetiver. They're rather nice, aren't they?